Buc-ee's. I cannot stay out of this place for some reason. It's like a gas station with a shopping mall inside it. It's crazy. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I want to talk today about taking neophytes, newbies, to the range and teaching them to shoot, which is something that I think we should all do if we get the chance. But we want to do it in a very, very safe way and make sure that nobody's getting hurt and nobody's in any undue danger. Obviously, going to the range is inherently unsafe, but driving a car is inherently unsafe. Everything we do is inherently unsafe. There are a lot of things that can be done to make going to the range much safer than it would otherwise be. And in fact, while going to the range is unsafe, it is much safer than most other activities, many other activities that we like to do. It's safer than playing golf, statistically. It's safer than playing football or baseball or basketball or hockey or soccer or any of those things. But there are things that we can do to make it safer. I would advise you, I'm using Nerf guns today because I don't want to freak anybody out here. Here in the location where I'm filming, it's not convenient for me to go to the range today and film. But so I'm using some Nerf guns to stand in. And of course, this is an added level of safety. Even if I were to get part of my body in front of this muzzle, I can't hurt myself. It just shoots foam darts and it doesn't even have any of those in it at the moment. So anyway, if you're thinking about taking new people to the range, a lot of people, got another Nerf gun here, a lot of people are very interested in shooting a pistol. A lot of neophytes who are either interested in shooting a pistol because it looks fun or it looks interesting, or they see movies where people are carrying pistols and they say, oh, I want to do that. Or very practically speaking, a lot of them are interested in getting a concealed carry license or otherwise carrying a pistol on their persons. In many states, you don't need a license to carry, but a lot of them are interested in acquiring a pistol to carry for defense, which can be a very wise thing to do. Or some of them are interested in acquiring a pistol for home defense. They don't intend to carry outside the home, but they are convinced that a pistol is the right choice for home defense, and it can be for some people. In any event, if you get the chance, try to get the newbies to start with a long gun, either a rifle or shotgun. Rimfire rifle is an excellent choice because it's inexpensive and it's easy to shoot well. It doesn't make a lot of noise or recoil or what have you. But a long gun is so much easier to use in safety and to learn to use safely and to teach people to use safely. One of the big problems that neophytes have is that they are not very conscious of where the muzzle is pointed. So if this is downrange for us and we're shooting on the range, a lot of them will hit the target and get really excited. Uncle Paul talked about this and say, wow, did you see that? That was so awesome. Or when you're giving them instruction, they'll turn and say, what? I didn't hear you. That's not so good. But with a long gun, when newbie starts to turn and point at you or other people, if you're within arm's reach, which you should be, as he starts to turn, there's a lot of gun here that you can use to control and say, no, downrange, always downrange. And newbies tend to understand that, they just have trouble remembering it. So you got a lot of gun here that you can control. Even if newbie starts to turn this way up the range, you can grab that gun and say, no, that gun has to stay downrange. You can move your body and talk to people who are in other places, who are uprange from you or up the firing line, down the firing line, but the muzzle always has to point downrange. Easier to control this. Also, it's harder when newbie is handling this firearm to point this gun at some part of his body. He might be able to point it at his feet. Even that's a little unlikely. Probably the biggest problem would be for a relatively short rifle or shotgun. He might get his hands out in front of the muzzle at some point. But if we contrast that with a pistol, it is so easy, say when charging the pistol, to get your hand in front of the muzzle, or to charge the pistol and then get your hand in front of the muzzle before you get back to a firing grip. It's so easy when you're adjusting your hearing protection to point this at some part of your body, or when you're holstering, end up pointing it at yourself. You probably wouldn't draw from a shoulder holster, but there are lots of ways you can get parts of your body in front of this, and that's a huge problem with a pocket-sized pistol, a Derringer, or some other small pistol. It's even possible to get your fingers, maybe even from a firing grip, out in front of the muzzle. And I've heard a lot of people worry that with a Derringer you might shoot yourself, shoot your own fingers or what have you. That is a legitimate concern. I've never actually heard of it happening to anyone, so maybe that's overblown. But the bottom line is, it is so much harder for a newbie to be safe with a pistol. Another reason to start with a long gun is it's much easier to get hits with a long gun. Newbies often get frustrated because they try to shoot the pistol and they're not getting hits like you see in the movies where the guy is bang, bang, bang shooting and all of his bullets are landing, or they see other people on the firing line shooting and getting lots of hits. It's very hard to get hits with a pistol. It's hard to shoot well. A long gun is much easier to shoot well. So those are some reasons maybe to start out your newbie friends or family or whomever with a long gun instead of a pistol if you can talk them into it. I've had people who didn't have any interest at all in shooting a long gun, had a lot of interest in shooting the pistol and insisted on starting with a pistol. And I let them know, you're doing this on hard mode. But they insisted, and yeah, by working at it hard, you can achieve success, but you are doing it the hard way. And when newbie wants to turn and say, what did you say? You don't have as much to block here, but you can reach out and touch somebody's forearm or wrist or the pistol or whatever and say, no, downrange. No, downrange. So you do have some options, but just if you're taking friends or family to the range for the first time, and these are people who don't have a lot of experience, try to start them with a long gun instead of a pistol if possible. That's all.